Hi, this is Thunder E from Booredatwork.com, and I have a question for you today. Are you disappointed in the Samsung Galaxy S3? Alright, so we've waited for months, and the long-awaited successor to the Samsung Galaxy S2 is here. We were hoping to see it at MWC 2012 in Barcelona. Earlier this year in February, it didn't come out. Samsung had delayed it for a while and set up a press conference, which was on May 3rd. For the announcement of the Samsung Galaxy S3. So we've seen the device, and my question here is, are we disappointed with what we've seen so far? Has there been a lot of hype, hysteria? Were we expecting the magic phone, the Jesus phone, whatever? For what we see here, let's just go over the specs of the Samsung Galaxy S3 itself. It's got a 4.88-inch Super AMOLED HD display, so it's got a 720p display. Now, some people will argue here that, it's a pentile display, it has less pixels than the iPhone, and so on and so forth. That's an argument to be made, but it's still a nice-looking display. I look at it this way: if your eyes can see it and it looks good, then, what the hell. It's got a quad-core processor, which is benchmarked better than any processor out there. The Exynos 1.4 GHz quad-core processor is. It's also got a quad-core graphics chip. So all of you who like to game on your smartphones and your devices as such, you're getting probably the best gaming hardware on a smartphone. So I think that is something to take note. It's also got it's running Android 4.0 with TouchWiz Nature UI. Now TouchWiz itself, the addition to Android 4.0, so far from the demos that we've seen and the hands-on that we have on the site, you guys can check out. Look like they've just been additions to what we expect from Android 4.0. You have the pop-up video, which is a great way to show videos. You also have the S Voice, which some say yes, it's copied Siri. To an extent, yes, they had to move up to the plate, but also they had voice recognition software on the Galaxy S2. It just wasn't as highly advanced as Siri when in terms of voice prompts and things like that. So of course they were going to do that. They've got the S-Beam, which is an advanced version of the NFC on any Android phone. So they've added things to it that make it, I guess you could say, more streamlined and better, if you will. It's got an 8-megapixel camera, unlike most devices. I guess some people are looking for 12 or 16, but megapixels really don't count as far as I'm concerned. It's basically how well your camera lenses, your aperture, as well as the software with it. And it seems like they've boosted the software in the camera, where you do have the ability for continuous shots, which is available in all Android 4.0 devices anyway. Plus, you also have the face detection, where it actually does proper face detection for you. So there are things in there that make it a solid device. I think one of the things that most people are complaining about is the design, and I agree there. I am not a fan of the design of the Galaxy S3. I think it looks big and clunky. It looks like a miniature, not miniature, but like a little cousin of the Samsung Galaxy Note. But that being said, rumors or word has come out that basically the Galaxy S3 was designed by lawyers, well, to effectively ensure that Samsung was going to be sued by Apple again for the design of their next phone. So I can see why that's the case, and I'm not too worried about it, because once it comes into the US, we know very well with the tradition of the Galaxy S and the Galaxy S2 that every single US carrier will redesign that smartphone to fit their style and what they're looking for. So on Sprint, AT&T, T-Mobile, and maybe Verizon, they will all look different in some form or fashion, and it will probably look slightly better than what we have here with the device. Overall, the device is super thin. What you expect from a smartphone nowadays. It seems like it's light enough at 133 grams. You do have all these features, so I'm wondering, that's why I'm putting this question out there. Are you disappointed, and what makes it disappointing for you? Were you expecting a 1080p display like we heard, which I think wasn't going to be possible, especially with pixelation and pixel density at this point in time, because I think it's much harder to actually fit more pixel density in the wider screen area, and compared to say the iPhone, which is much smaller, you can actually cram a lot of stuff in there. So that's something to take note. So is it that? Is it I mean, what is disappointing about the device for you? Because a lot of people put it out there, say they're disappointed, it looks slow. Some people have complained that it's laggy. I'll say some of that lagginess is also due to Android itself. I mean, I have the HTC One X, and it's smooth, but then sometimes it just does some random weird lagginess. So, not trying to defend the device, but I'm just pointing out certain things that we should note before we jump to conclusions, before we move left and right on the device. So far, I think Samsung has added a few things, but I think we've also come, in all honesty, we've come to that point where smartphone, in terms of hardware, we're reaching the pinnacle, and every company will match in hardware. So you have either a quad-core processor in there with a quad-core GPU. You're gonna have a HD display. Depends on what technology you use. Is it Super LCD? Is it non-pentile screens? Are you looking at AMOLED? I mean, whatever you're looking at, but it's going to be a HD display anyway. You're going to have an 8 megapixel camera as your base camera at this point in time, until we get better camera resolutions. I mean, better camera quality from a 12 or 16 in there. And we do have a front-facing camera, that would be shooting at 720p. So what you have here is that every device will match in specs. The cool thing about this, of course, is at least this device still has micro SD card slots, I believe, and also you have various size versions in comparison to just having one, like you have with the HTC One X. But anyway, that's me just talking and rambling on the point. I mean, the question still stands. All right, are you disappointed with the Samsung Galaxy S3? And what are the things that actually make it disappointing for you? Let us know. Put your thoughts out there. Leave comments. Let's start a discussion, what have you. So this is Thunder E saying thank you, and always enjoy entertainment.